back this year, but they have new pieces too. What are you seeing mostly that they're doing so much better than they did last year?
Well, I think Steve, I think the thing that you see with them this year, they have great togetherness. You know, they really have great role definition for how they play, and you can tell they have great confidence. I think that's the biggest thing that I see with them. And you know, they've been in different moments, whether it's they're down or it's a tight game. They believe they're supposed to win. And you have two guys in Baycott and Davis who have been through a lot of wars. They've been through a lot of wars together. And then you add in great experience. You know, they're one of the oldest teams in the country. You know, they're you know, Ryan and Ingram and Withers and the guys they've added. They have collectively they've played hundreds of games. And so I think that experience has really helped them.
John, to sort of follow up on that, you talked about connectedness, togetherness as one of the things you talk about with any good defensive team. They're, I think, fourth in KenPom right now in defensive efficiency, and that's the highest they've been as a program ranking-wise, going back to 97. What do you see specifically from a defensive standpoint that's made them as successful as they've been defensively?
Well, you're going to be successful if you defend the three-point line that well. And teams have not shot good percentages from three against them. And you know, they really put an emphasis on protecting their paint while at the same time defending the three. It's what we try to do. And, you know, I think it starts, though, with great intention by their players, by their coaching staff. They've done a great job guarding the ball. You know, you can't have a good defense if you don't guard the ball. You don't, and if you don't guard pick and roll defense. And they've done that. And so it's not a team where you can look and say, all right, you need to drive him or attack him. They all are capable defenders, and they have five guys that defend it together. And then the last thing is they hold you to one shot. You know, they don't give up offensive rebounds really for the most part, and so that limits what you can do on the offensive end if you can only get one shot.
John, you mentioned R.J. Davis has been through it over there a couple of times. Obviously, he's being used in a different role this year. How are you seeing him use him differently, and specifically what challenges does he present maybe differently compared to years past?
Yeah, man, R.J. Davis, he's had a great year. He's had as good of a year as anybody. He's played with such a great pace, and he's done it by being elite at shooting the three and getting to the foul line. You know, and that's a great recipe for a guard that can score a lot of points. And then not to mention, he's got the total freedom to shoot any shot. So you can't relax for 1 second. Looks like they're doing some different things for him on offense to get him open, and they have a different team. But it's the pace that he plays with. You know, you got to find him in transition. When he has the ball, he's going to attack the basket. He's in pick and roll a lot, and they have shooting around him. But then he's also a guy where they can run staggers and different things for him, where you need to have great talk off the ball. And similar to what we just faced at Virginia Tech, they do some of that. But he's just a great player, a winning player, plays both ends of the ball, not just offense. And he's had a terrific year. We know it's going to be a great challenge guarding him.
John, what's it say about Jared that he's able to affect the game in so many ways? I mean, it feels like he can kind of do whatever you guys need on that particular night.
You know, you think about Jared through the whole course of this season, and he does whatever's required to win. And you mentioned last game, you know, he may not have had his best shooting game, but he has 10 rebounds. The game before, he comes up with the two biggest steals of the game, you know, when the game's on the line. That same game, in the middle of the second half, we were stagnant a little bit, and he just went on a scoring spree. He's defended some of the best players we've played in an unorthodox way. He's guarded fours, he's guarded ones, twos, threes, even fives at times, the way we switch. He's just a winning player, and you trust him on the court, and you trust that at some point he's going to make a winning play, but also you believe his shots are going to go in.
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned that North Carolina does a really good job limiting the other team's offensive rebounds. On the other side of things, they do a really good job getting their own offensive rebounds. How do you guys stop that?
Yeah, you got to be tough. You know, you have to be tough. You have to have each other's backs, and because look, they're great at getting. Baycott demands a lot of attention, naturally going to the boards, but also Ingram's all over the boards, and then they'll send a third perimeter at times 4, and so you have to have each other's backs. So if somebody comes over to help, well, then somebody better help him. And we've done a good job with that collectively, and it's all about the fight. It's all about the mentality. You got to find a way to come up with the ball, and it's really no different from Saturday. Although they're, like you mentioned, they're great at it. That's what they've done. It's what I've known them to do since I've been, freshman in college here. It's no different, and you got to go in with the right mindset to that game to rebound.
Coach, you talked about a week or two ago about Sean Stewart and his ability and the reason you gave him some minutes. Is this the type of game where you can afford to give some of the younger, more experienced guys minutes, or is this, hey, the starters are going to play the majority of the game as more than they usually do?
Well, I don't know if it's about anybody. You can afford to play anybody. You want to play the guys that give you the best chance to win. And in these games, one possession can make the difference. And so, Sean has played because I believe he's going to help us win, whoever plays in that game. And, you talk about playing young guys. We play our young guys every game. I talked about a couple of their transfers who have played hundreds of games. Jared, Caleb, and Sean and TJ, they played 19. And it's a little bit different. But I still believe, I don't care if they haven't seen this before or not, they're going to be ready for this. This is the reason you come to Duke, to play in games like this. And I'm excited for them to have this opportunity. And just like Virginia Tech was a great opportunity.
John, last year, Tyrese, as the year went on, became one of the better perimeter defenders in the league. I know he went through the injury this year, so probably set him back a little bit. But how have you seen him progress there? Has he got to that level again? Yeah,
Tyrese has definitely gone back to that level. He's moving now the right way. It took him some time from the ankle, but I just love. It's funny how that works, Steve. The defense and offense comes together a lot of the time, and he's got such a competitive edge. When he's guarding, he guards with a tenacity that I love. And he's done that especially as of late. He's played some great defense on some of the best guards that we've played. Gerard, Couture. Obviously, everybody will guard Davis this game, but I'm sure he'll guard him a fair share as well. And that's important to have a guy like that. And then the thing that it's done is offensively, he's played with a huge swagger. He's shooting the ball confidently. He's attacking the paint. He's playmaking. That's who we need him to be. When he's that way, there's not a better guard in the country. And I'm proud of how he's made a big jump here the last 7 to 10 days.
John, as ready as those young guys are for this, you know that this is a different atmosphere, especially when you go over there. How much does a guy like Jeremy, who's been through this like 3-4 times now, how much does he help to kind of prepare these guys to let them know, here's what you need to expect? Yeah,
Jeremy helps a great deal, and he's done that throughout the season. First time playing on the road, first time neutral game. He's just been a steady force for us, because Jeremy, he doesn't get fazed by much. And especially this year, he's been a guy that's he's been such a good leader with his demeanor, not getting fazed by something that doesn't go his way. And I expect him to do the same thing Saturday. He's been very vocal even before games. Days of preparation of what we need to do in order to win and focusing on the game plan. And that's the thing you learn being in this game or any big time game. It's not about the crowd or about the hype. It's about the focus and the work. And that's what Jeremy knows, being in this game for a long time.
Coach, since that win on Monday, what have been some points of emphasis for you and the guys in practice over the last couple of days, and what will be your mindset going into that atmosphere at Smith Center on Saturday?
Well, the first thing is we had a day off on Tuesday, and our guys had to show up in class and take care of their business here. And yesterday we had a practice, which is good, and part of it you want to get their bodies back moving. When you play 2 games in 3 days, it can take a toll on you. It takes a couple days to get your body back. And for us, it's just building on our defense. I think our defense is really taking a big-time step. Our defending Virginia Tech the way we did, our talk was great, our fight on the ball. I've been asked about the rebounding battle today. I know it's a different team, but you out-rebound them 38-20. And so just trying to reinforce some of the good things we did, and then also understand for us as a team, yesterday it was all about us. Like, here's what we have to do better. Stepping up with our pick and roll coverages, reviewing some of our offensive go-tos so we're connected and prepared. And today we'll dive into Carolina more, and tomorrow before the game on Saturday.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about Hubert Davis? What do you admire most about him, the job he's doing? If you couldn't vote for yourself, would he be your vote right now for ACC Coach of the Year?
Yeah, well, one, I would just tell you about Hubert. I think he's done a great job, and we probably have a lot of empathy for each other, taking over two programs that are as good as any program in the country. And with that comes a lot of exciting things, right? You get to coach great players, and you have people that care about your program and the success of it. Also comes a lot of scrutiny. And I think he's done just a great job coaching his guys, focusing on what matters, and he's got his team rolling. He's got his team playing really well. And I don't think they give out Coach of the Year awards or Player of the Year awards halfway through, but for him, you can't say he hasn't done as good of a job as anybody. He's done a terrific job, and I have a ton of respect for him and who he is as a coach, and also who he is as a person. He's a good dude, and it's a lot of mutual respect and honor to play against him and coach against him.
We're going to go here and here, and that'll be it.
John, UNC lost at Georgia Tech. You guys have lost to Arkansas and Georgia Tech as a highly ranked team. There's been a lot of that in the country this year. Really good teams going on the road, but as unranked teams and stumbling. It's never been easy to play on the road.
Right.
Is it different this year at all?
Well, it is different just because it's happened more. And I think you asked then, why has it happened more? And I think it's safe to say there's with the transfer portal and with the COVID year, there's probably more parity overall. There's not as big of a gap in terms of talent. And when you think about talent, also experience plays a factor in that. But I think the other thing that happens when a couple teams win or lose early, let's say you mentioned the top 10 teams, it gives belief to everybody else. And so then it's you feel like it's supposed to happen as a team, as opposed to maybe a couple years ago it's not happening as much. There's more doubt in your mind going into that game. So right now, I think everybody in the country feels any game they play, they can win, because those kinds of games have happened through the whole season. So it creates a belief, it creates a togetherness, no matter, if you look at a lot of these losses, go back and look. The game before, the team the unranked team that won, they've lost by 25 points the game before, or played horrible, or they've lost 3 in a row, or they've lost. It doesn't matter. It does not matter what happens the game before, because there's that belief that they can still win. And I think that happens when there's more of those losses that happen early in the year.
John, obviously there have been a lot of great games recently in the series, but it is the first time both teams are ranked since 2019. Do you personally get any sense of different heightened level of anticipation for this one? Have you heard anything about that, or if you into that?
Well, look, I mean, it, of course, and I feel like there's always a hype and a buzz and excitement, but for me, this is how it should be. This is how it should be with our two programs and what they've done through the years. And I remember many times, dating back as a player, assistant coach, obviously this is now year 2 as a head coach. There's been a bunch of these games, but you feel like this is just how it should be. And I think there's a lot of excitement. I think there's a lot of the timing of this is great. But the truth is the preparation is still, it's one game in the win column. And you can't make it bigger than what it is. And you have to treat it with the same respect and level of preparation you would for any game. But obviously it's an exciting thing for us, and I would think the same for them.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Did the injury set you back in that part of the game at all? How do you feel that way as we go into this game?
Yeah, it definitely set me back. I couldn't move. I couldn't move properly at all, really. I think laterally and just changing direction was my biggest struggle. I think I'm good now. Obviously, guarding Couture and stuff like that last game, and I think just getting used to the pain was a big thing for me, and I think I'm ready for Saturday, and it should be a good game.
Jeremy, you've played over there and played in this rivalry now for a while, longer than anybody here. When you look back at it, how has it changed? Because it's kind of gone through a metamorphosis where you guys are the kings and they were the upstart, and then changed. They went to the Final Four last year. I don't think either one of you were ranked, and now both of you are ranked. So, how has this changed, and do you kind of feel a kinship also with Armando and RJ, since you guys have gone against each other for a long time?
Yeah, I mean, it's been obviously this has been one of the best rivalries in all of sports. But I haven't really even seen a change like that. I mean, it's always a UNC Duke rivalry. It doesn't matter if top rank, not top rank. Like, it's always going to be a bloodbath every time we step across those lines. So, I mean, I'm just excited to even compete in this rivalry. It's going to be a crazy matchup on Saturday, and I can't wait for it.
Do you have any kind of relationship with those two guys that have been there, or is it just on the court?
For sure. Obviously, I played with Mondo in high school. RJ, I've been playing against RJ all my life. So, I mean, I've known those two guys for forever. But like I said, stepping in between those lines with those guys is always a competition. It's always a battle, and I mean, it's just something that you always want to play with people like that, play against people like that, because the stakes are so high, especially in this rivalry.
For either one of you guys, Coach mentioned after Monday night's game that every team evolves, and 20 games into this season, how do you guys feel like you've evolved this year?
I think we're trending in the right direction. I mean, obviously, in the beginning of the year, I mean, you got to just find your identity in the beginning of the year, and then one of our key guys goes down. I mean, Tyrese, you know how special he is to our team. I mean, the things that he does on the court, and when you're missing a guy like that, kind of in the middle of the season when you're trying to find yourself, it can kind of mess the team up. But I think the freshmen have kind of grown up early throughout the year. Like they stepped up a lot, especially in early times against Hofstra, Charlotte, Baylor, Queens, Syracuse. When he was getting back, I mean, the freshmen stepped up a lot and they grew up a lot. So I think we're trending in the right direction. Obviously, we're all healthy now. Tyrese is back. I'm back. Mark is back. So it's going to be a special thing going forward.
You mentioned freshmen. What is your message specifically to Caleb and Jared, both of you, having experience in this rivalry? What do you tell them advocating with this?
I think the biggest thing is just be positive. I think next play mentality is a big thing too. Obviously, going to an environment like UNC, it's like no other, and there's a lot of outside noise that can creep in, and just blocking all that out, and just staying within the 15 guys in the locker room and just the coaches. I think that's the biggest thing. Just staying positive.
What kind of differences have you guys noticed in UNC this year when you're watching film?
I think they play with a really fast pace. They push the tempo, and I think they're the number one offensive rebound team in our conference too. So just being able to make sure we crush the boards and make sure our D-trans is on point. That's what I've seen.
This is for either one of you. I don't know if you guys pay attention to it, but when UNC's playing a game against Georgia Tech and they lose, I mean, do you guys want them to win that game and set the intensity of this game so much higher, or is that something you guys even care about? I mean, is there anything that you guys look at?
Yeah, no, we're not really focused on if they win or lose like that. I mean, we're focused on ourselves. Obviously, we wanted to get the win on Monday in Blacksburg. Obviously, we haven't had a crazy experience up in Blacksburg, but definitely we just wanted to get the win in Blacksburg and get ready for Saturday. Obviously, I mean, you're gonna watch all the ACC games and see what goes on, but you don't really care if they win or lose. It's gonna be a battle Saturday, regardless if they win or not. So it's not like if they lost, like it's gonna be any easier if they didn't. So we're ready for this matchup and just got to get ready mentally and physically.
Jeremy, you said you've known RJ for a long time, and his production level this year is much better than the conference.
Yeah.
Do you guys communicate in the offseason at all? Did you know the kind of work he was doing to get ready to have this kind of a jump in his game?
Nah, I mean, obviously I've done some. You probably done some NIL deals with him or stuff like that. It's the only time I've really communicated with him like that. But nothing in the off season, not really worried about his training regimen or anything. I know he's working. Obviously, it's paying off. He's having an All-American season right now. I mean, he's playing better, pretty much one of the best brand of basketball he's ever played at UNC. So, I mean, hats off to him. But just want to kind of get ready for that matchup this weekend for sure.
Jeremy, of all the games you played against these guys, is there any one or any in particular that kind of stand out as the most memorable or your favorite?
I mean, all the matches are memorable. I mean, obviously the Final Four game, just being in that moment was definitely special and surreal. I mean, playing against them in the Final Four is definitely you don't picture that coming into the beginning of the season, but just playing them in the Final Four was definitely probably the most memorable for sure.
Tyrese, with you being from Australia, is Duke UNC as big of a thing in Australia? I mean, besides just your family watching the game, is that an international brand?
I mean, people watch it. I wouldn't say it's to the caliber it is over here, but I mean, a lot of people definitely watch it. Yeah.
Jeremy, you've won there, you've won here. Is there a difference? Do you prefer one or the other?
Nah, I just want to come in there and get the win. It doesn't matter if it's home or away. I mean, I love getting wins on the road. I mean, obviously getting a win on the road in the ACC is, I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do for sure. But just coming out of there with a win is definitely special for sure.
Anything else for these guys? Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.